start with a quick set of questions. And with these questions, I just wanted to make sure that we can start the whole ball rolling. And be brave, reach out with your hands as you look at the questions and see if you can answer them. So the first question is, when was the last time you asked yourself, why am I doing this? Was it today? Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Sometime this week? Sometime this month? Sometime this year? Or maybe never? Are you basically checking your internal compass on a regular basis? Or are you just winging it, you're on autopilot, and hoping for the best? Any takers?
Every day.
That's great. Anybody else?
Every day. Every moment.
That's great. So the next question is, when you hear a really bold idea, what's your first instinct? Do you say, this is never going to work? Or do you kind of say, this is interesting, but how do we put this in action? Or do you ask, why are we even doing this? Or are you like, great, let's go try this out. Let's see what happens. So basically, are you someone who always inquires? Or are you someone who would basically first start out and judge? Any takers? It's good to know that, right? Because there's always, with Myers-Briggs, you always have a different set of groupings. So you have the people who are curious. You'll also have the people who would also tend to judge and make decisions based on that. The next question is, if I was a person in your team, what role would they play? And I'll show you a set of potential roles. And which sort of role do you think would they be? I mean, are they the rebel? Are they like this intern who is continuously running around from corner to corner asking, okay, what do you want me to do or what do you not want me to do? Is it someone who is continuously asking questions? Hey, what is this? Why is this? Why are you doing this? Or someone who's a skeptic? How would you basically see this person why in your team? Any takers? All of them. Anybody else? Okay. So, thank you for sharing. I mean, these answers give us a lot of inspiration and insight into how we think, how our leadership skills can be shaped. It reinforces that why is not just a question, but it is actually a mindset within each of us. In leadership, why is often treated as a vegetable. Most people don't like to eat vegetables. They head straight for the meat or sometimes for the desert. And the desert or the meat is like the key performance indicators, the deadlines, the action plans. That's quite yummy, right? I mean, we all like the good stuff, but it's the why which is basically going to keep your gut healthy. And today I want to show you when we pause and start with why, we don't just get better answers, we build trust, we build clarity, and occasionally we can also inspire someone to just keep their phone down and start paying attention. So, it's a mindset. If we think about Martin Luther King, he started his speech in the Lincoln Memorial, and he said, I have a dream. He did not say, I have a plan. And the reason why he said, I have a dream, is because he wanted to give them a purpose, an inspiration. And if he had said, I have a plan, he would have come up with a set of actions, a to-do list, some tactical steps, and hopefully a whole bunch of people would have just started in a project management schedule with him. But instead, by saying, I have a dream, he got a whole bunch of people to start marching with him, and he started the civil rights movement. That is something which is very powerful when you think about how asking the right question happens. Now imagine if he had just said, hey, you know what? Black people in America are not treated properly. We have to change these policies. Do you think anybody would have thought about remembering his speech? Would it be memorable? Would he be quoted the second time in this forum today, so far away from the US? I do not think so. So when you are basically leading a business, when you are in a classroom leading the students, when you are leading a movement, an NGO, it's your innate ability to inspire people that starts the why. People do not rally behind instructions. They will not follow just orders. They will enact upon them, but if when you give them purpose, if you give them meaning, they will rush towards it. So picture a team of rowers in a boat. Their muscles are flexed, their brows are sweating. They're rowing really hard, right? In perfect synchrony. And somebody is basically keeping on beating the drums. Maybe think about the Roman galley as an example. And they're rowing in some sort of direction. And then someone asks, okay, where are we going? And the rest are like, I don't know. Now, even though they might be great rowers in perfect sync, they would be rowing in circles because nobody knows what they are doing. And most likely you will find somebody on the back of the boat who's barely pretending to row. He doesn't have the inspiration to actually make it happen. So that is what leadership without purpose feels like. Tasks will get done, deadlines will get met, but a goal may not be achieved because there's no clear direction where a person or where the group needs to go towards. There's no drive, there's no inspiration, there's no focus, there's no end result or purpose which gives a greater meaning to their lives. But now imagine the same team, but this time, before they touch the water even, someone will just stand up and say, you know what, we need to reach the other shore, or we need to show and prove that we are the best team out there. Now, you start giving them purpose, and suddenly, they are not just rowing, they are trying to achieve an end goal, an end destination, and an end purpose. The energy will shift. The guy in the back who was barely trying to row or trying to pretend that he's rowing, even that guy would be putting all his effort in order to get to that end point. Because there's something which is beyond what that person achieves for themselves. There's a higher goal. There's a higher purpose. It's the North Star. It is what helps teams, people, groups steer. They can go to the right direction. So we know Elon Musk is the world's richest man in the world today. And at the current moment, he's not the most, let's say, popular individual or entrepreneur in the world because of everything that is happening in the US and by extension to the rest of the global economy. But he has done some amazing things. One of that is basically SpaceX. And when you look at SpaceX and when Elon Musk started SpaceX, he didn't say, oh, let's build a rocket and let's make it cheaper than what NASA was doing. He basically said, let's make life multi-planetary. And suddenly, he gave a team of engineers a mission to achieve something which is higher than what they could individually achieve. And that goal made those people connect. It gave them priorities. It gave them commitment because they knew that they had to innovate instead of just focusing on short-term profits. They started working insane hours because they believed in making life interplanetary. It created a connection between all these different stakeholders, inventors, scientists, investors, public relations people, governments, and the whole bunch of other groups. If he had just focused on what, which was to build a rocket, or how, by making it the cheapest potential option, SpaceX would not have revolutionized the space industry, and they would not have had rescued Sunita Williams from the ISS, the International Space Station. So a strong why is what keeps teams from falling apart. So think about a rope bridge. What we see in a rope bridge is basically a whole bunch of planks, and they're tied together with a rope. The planks could be like your KPIs, your deadlines, your targets, your action points, while the rope is the purpose, the why, which is holding it all together. Without that connecting force, it will just be a bunch of planks which are swinging along in the wind, which nobody wants to cross because they're too afraid of falling through it, just like the Lakshman Jhula. But when you have a strong why, when you have a strong rope, it just holds everything together so that you can build confidence and you can build trust walking through it. So when teams, when individuals, when groups understand the why behind their work, something magical happens. They don't check boxes anymore. They take ownership of every single activity that they are going to do. They stop saying, I have to do this, and they start wanting to be part of that journey. They say, I want to be part of this. That is the difference between, let's say, being a cog on the wheel of, for example, a corporate box. Instead, you start becoming a builder of something which is much more meaningful. So basically, at the end, having the right why, you should ask yourself, do we know what we want to do? Do we know what our purpose is? Because when your purpose is clear, your actions will become more meaningful. Your goals will become achievable, and you as an individual and you as part of a team will become unstoppable. Thank you.